The Fantasy Flow Podcast is tanking for Fernando Mendoza.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Fantasy Flow Podcast with Austin and Andy. We're here to recap Week 11, preview Week 12, give you our game picks, fantasy football advice, and overall just ball knowledge and entertainment. Yeah. We got it up here. We're about to spew it from out here, gesturing to my mouth for the audio listeners. And Andy, how was your weekend, man?
Weekend was good. Got to watch the Seahawks game with some Rams fans. Got to ride the roller coaster that game was with them. And then just kind of sluggish football all across the week, all across the league, and then some high-powered sprinkled in there.
Yeah, there was a few great games, a few high-scoring games, and then, some defensive battles for sure, like the Rams-Seahawks. Boy, what was it, final 21-19?
Yep.
It was a slog. It was a field goal contest. My weekend, I had a great weekend, which is good because I had a terrible weekend in terms of sports and fantasy sports, and it was just like, I just had a wonderful time, not a lot of plans, got to see some friends though, and it was just like, it was just real nice. But what wasn't nice was seeing the Seahawks lose this weekend. And then it was hilarious because in our Fantasy Flow face-off, I wanted to hedge my emotions, coming into this game. I had a feeling about the Rams. I liked them this week, and I picked the Rams to cover the spread, which was 2.5, and the Rams only win by 2. So my emotional hedge doesn't work. My emotions should be through the floor. I've had a little bit of time now to kind of grapple with that, but it looks like the Seahawks might be a wild card team this year, and that's okay. We'll not harp on the Seahawks, but I did want to share this stat. After that devastating 4 interception game by Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is now 3rd in the league in interceptions, and he's tied for 2nd in the league in fumbles lost, which makes him responsible for more turnovers than anyone else in the league.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, it is. And they've won 7 games, so it doesn't feel like it's that bad. The defense has been so good, and we were blowing out these bad teams, which is great. But it's been a problem when it comes to the turnovers. The Seahawks, they lead the league as a team in turnovers. They lead the league in fumbles lost, which ironically, 0 fumbles lost from the running back position. It's all been Sam Darnold or one of the pass catchers, which is pretty crazy. It's kind of maybe you could say that's fluky if you wanted to look at it, glass half full.
Totally. I mean, we talk about it every year. The turnover battle matters way more than you think. And surprisingly, to have 4 interceptions, only lose by 2, there's a little bit there's a little brightness to look at in that in all that darkness.
Could be, for sure. Yeah, I think turnovers they play a disproportionate they have a disproportionate role in terms of the outcome of the game. You can look at yards, you can look at maybe even like touchdown percentage, like all these advanced analytics, but you just look at the turnover margin, and it's really strong correlation to the outcome of the game. You look at the Vikings feel like they're better than 4-6. Like, what's going on? And you're like, oh, they're in like the bottom 3 in turnover differential. They're like, how are the Bears leading their division after this week, which we'll get to? But it's like, oh, well, they are plus 16 turnover differential on the year. It's like, that's how. Right. And then the Rams are 2nd, by the way, on the year in turnover differential, of course, after Sunday.
Yeah, they were plus 7, remember? And then they get 4, but they lost 1 as well.
Yes, okay. So now they settle in at 2nd place in the league in turnover differential. Sure. So anyways, that's the story of the game, for sure.
Speaking of turnovers, we got to see this guy, Shedeur Sanders, come in this week, and wasn't his first pass an interception?
Could have been, man. Yeah, he came in for the 4th quarter. I don't know if exactly the 4th quarter, but it was something like that. He played at least a whole quarter. He threw 16 passes completed 4 for 25% completion percentage. He looked terrible. But there was that last drive. They were down by 7 with the ball. They were driving, and I was like, "Is he gonna have like a JJ McCarthy moment here?" He didn't. But some a turnover at the quarterback position for sure, and quarterbacks just keep making turnovers there in Cleveland. And I mean, Lamar had 2 himself. I was so upset with him because I was just grappling with it all week. Like, do I start Lamar Jackson or do I try to find someone with a better matchup? Because I knew going into Cleveland with the wind whipping around against that defense, Myles Garrett, that it was going to be tough. But I was just like, no, you know what? Just start your studs. I looked at the tape, I go back, I look at the highlights, see what happened. It really wasn't his fault. One of his interceptions went right through the hands of their backup running back and into the arms of the defense. The other one was tipped at the line and ended up getting picked. It was tipped straight up into the air. Just unfortunate how it went down. And then, Myles Garrett, he had 4 sacks on the night. At least 2 of those sacks, he was unblocked, Andy. I couldn't believe it. Watching, I'm like, they're like, oh, well, Myles Garrett lined up on the left side, so we're gonna make Lamar roll out to the right. It'll be a designed rollout, just so we won't block him, and he'll just roll out the other way, where he won't be, And there's no way he could run all the way across the field to sack Lamar. He's not gonna do that. He did 4 times. Yeah.
It's just trying to be like too fancy. It's like, they wouldn't think that we're gonna do this, right? So let's do the thing that will probably maybe not work, but they'll keep them on their toes, and then it doesn't work. And like, why did we just run that play? Why did we just do that? I seriously thought the Ravens were going to lose this game. I kept on seeing the score during the Seahawks game and was like, oh my gosh, they're down. Like, and we're coming to the fourth quarter. What is going on? And then, of course, Shador comes in. I looked it up. It wasn't his first throw. It was like within his first 5. Okay. Regardless, when you have your back, when they're on their 3rd, 4th quarterback of the year, like, when you have to keep on going down the bench at the quarterback spot, you're going to, especially in the middle of the game, you're going to lose those games, no matter how much you're up.
Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders. They all got in there, and it's in 11 weeks, they got all 4 quarterbacks in there.
Wow.
So that's pretty insane. Last thought on the Ravens, we got to talk about that fake tush push with Mark Andrews. They were definitely getting too cute with not blocking Myles Garrett, but this was adorable as hell, and it ended up in like a 35-yard touchdown run for Mark Andrews. Have you seen this play, Andy?
No, I'm gonna watch it right now as you talk about it, though.
It's exactly what it sounds like. I mean, they lined up for the tush push. It was 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. Mark Andrews has been their guy for that, not Lamar. And they just snap it, and Mark Andrews, he does like this sort of pirouette rollout thing, and just goes to his right, and he has nothing but green, and he just ends up outrunning last members of the secondary of the Browns. It was pretty impressive, and I've just been dying for someone to do that. I don't think it's the first fake that we've ever seen out of the tush push formation, but it is the first successful fake that went for a touchdown that I can remember. So that was pretty impressive, and that ended up being the game-winning touchdown. So.
Nice. Yeah, I think Saquon did that last year, and they were pretty close to the goal line. It was like a couple yards, and I think he got a touchdown. Maybe it was just a first down. I could be speaking incorrectly, but yes, that is so cool to see that play work, and especially for a tight end. No matter if it was Mark Andrews or Isaiah Likely, like, it's just cool for a tight end to make that type of a move and have it work out for a touchdown.
Totally. Speaking of tight ends making moves, I had no idea what was going on with this Panthers-Falcons game. This was the craziest game of the weekend, and huge ramifications for both teams. We talked about it all last week on our show, that these two teams are fighting for that second spot in that division as the Bucs keep losing, which is becoming more and more important, right? Mm-hmm. And we all thought the Falcons were more talented coming into the year. And it ends up being a Tommy Tremble doing his best George Kittle impression in overtime, just putting the whole team on his back, running down like 45 yards down the field to set his team up for the game-winning field goal. Andy, I know you are a Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins dynasty owner. Let's tell the listeners your thoughts on the Falcons offense.
It's Drake London. The team could just be renamed as the Drake London offense. I mean, yes, Bijan finally does his thing. They give him over 20 carries, 23 to be exact.
That's good.
He gets 2 touchdowns. He's averaging 4.5 per carry. I mean, and Drake London, like your 2 best players, right? They're your offense. There's no creativity besides these 2. I mean, they're using all the creative juice they have just to make sure that these 2 get the ball, and they're trying to win that way, and then they're trying to win on defense. Really, I think that's the summary of Atlanta this year that I've come to realize is they're not that special on offense. They do just enough, but if they can be special on defense, then they have a chance to win the game. But if that bends, if that breaks, then they have no chance of winning the game. And as no matter how close they get, they got really close against the Colts. They went into overtime. They get close against Carolina. This was about to go into overtime, but as you see with the greater teams, the defense is that much ahead of the Atlanta defense, and that's what results in those other teams getting wins and Atlanta either taking losses or going to overtime and getting losses, etc.
Yeah. This was like coaching malpractice and has been for a while. The whole Kyle Pitts of it all, like he's still on the team. We hardly even hear from him. It's just a total mismanagement of the whole thing. We talked about how like Kirk Cousins being there is just bad for Penix's development. The offensive line's hurt. There's nothing you can really do about that. But like, man, I feel like you could at least put him in some better spots. And it was just really hard to watch the Falcons blow this lead because they had a nice lead. I think it was 21-10 at halftime. The Panthers didn't actually go up until like a minute and 20 seconds left in the game. The Falcons really had this one. They looked great early. Like you said, Drake London was just killing it. No one can guard him. Man, it was just a total defensive collapse in the fourth quarter. There was one play that comes to mind. It was a 4th and 4 that the Panthers had, and it was like right after the 2-minute warning. So if you get this stop, it's pretty much game over. 4th and 4. The Falcons defense is playing so far back. I'm like, why isn't everyone on the line to gain? It's like they're playing so far back, and Young just dumps it off to his tight end for 5 yards. And I'm like, that was the game. Like, what are we doing? Everyone's like, it was the wide receivers, it was the tight ends, it was like the linebackers were nowhere to be seen. I'll send it to you later. It's honestly insane. Maybe I'll try and clip it and show the audience while I'm rambling here. But yeah, it was just really sad. And yeah, Kirk Cousins could hardly do anything. He threw one of the worst like hospital balls that in recent memory. Throwing it up to Darnell Mooney in triple coverage. The defense drops the ball, so it's like a dropped interception, and then Mooney gets lit up. And it's just like, man, this is terrible. Toast. He's toast. I love Kirk Cousins. Like I'm a huge Kirk Cousins guy. I will go to bat for him. But like he's not a starter at this point in his career, and it's really sad. Yeah.
I'm fed up with Atlanta at this point in the year, and I just have a lot of emotion riding on this team for Dynasty. Like you said, for Kirk Cousins, I thought about getting a Kirk Cousins jersey last year because he was balling early. I think they were like 6-2 at one point. Anyway, we could go on and on. Yeah, but let's talk about this Bills-Bucks game, man.
Let's do it. Yeah. We got to inject some positivity in here. And yeah, this was really fun. It was fun to watch. There were tons of lead changes. Both quarterbacks were balling out. I don't care what the final stat sheet says. Like, this was close. This was closer than the final score suggests. The Bills really pulled away late. I think the Bucks were scoreless in the final 13 minutes. But man, yeah, this was a heck of a game. Sean Tucker, breakout game. Josh Allen was lighting the world on fire. Lots of people saying lots of crap about Josh Allen in the media. Right. Lots of rumors. We don't got to get into it. But, like, man, he shut down all of it.
6 total touchdowns from Josh Allen. I mean, that is just, this is why he goes in the first, second round in your fantasy drafts. This is why he's in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
This is why the Bills always have a chance to make the playoffs, to make the Super Bowl, etc. is Josh Allen. He is the difference maker, and he just proved that point once again this week. Yes, he has his lull weeks, and that's kind of what had been happening to him and the Bills, to be quite honest. But he's that spark. If he's going, the rest of the team is going. Even if the defense gives up 32 points to the Buccaneers, it doesn't matter. Like the spark that he brings to that team, and especially at home with all those fans, I'm sure it was just the wave of emotions during that game. Even from the TV was just, you could feel it.
Totally. 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. Just absolutely nuts. Like if you were to ask, like, if someone just showed me that stat line, I'd be like, well, that has to be a Josh Allen stat line.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, not many people can do that. But what's crazy is really it's on the Bills side, it's Josh Allen and James Cook that get the fantasy points, right? And then on the Buccaneers side, they score 32 points, and it's only really Sean Tucker that gets the fantasy points, not even Baker. He only throws for 173 yards. But they scored 32 points. It was, like you said earlier, it was just all Sean Tucker here. Catching the ball, running the ball. He was their best player in this game, and nobody saw that coming except for, shout out, Marissa.
Oh yeah, she started him.
She started him, and oh boy, she's still gonna lose their matchup.
No. Brutal. Okay, well, Sean Tucker, and then Ty Johnson had a huge breakaway catch for the Bills. But yeah, I mean, we'll get into it more, but like, the Bills were without Keon Coleman because he missed the Friday team meeting, and I guess that wasn't his first offense, so they just benched him. And then they were already missing Dalton Kincaid due to injury. And it didn't matter at all. The team still scored 44 points. So absolutely nuts. Good for them. The Patriots won on Thursday, so as of right now, the Bills are still in that wild card spot. They're probably going to be one of the best wild card teams of all time, like, because they're going to have to get 2 games up on the Patriots. We'll talk about it more later. Maybe next week we'll get into the playoff picture. But man, that was the biggest thing that jumped out to me. Was like, how good is this Bills team? And they're going to have to go on the road. Like they're probably going to go into Pittsburgh or into Baltimore in the first round.
Ooh, yeah, well, that's gonna be wild. That's gonna be exciting.
It was like a total bloodbath in Jacksonville. What the heck happened there? The Jags win 35-6 against the Chargers. I can't even explain this one. The Jags running backs had more rush attempts than the Chargers offense had plays. Like,
the only explanation, I tried to paint a picture in my head of how the Chargers fell face first so hard. The only explanations I came away with were, one, what I brought up last week about going across the country, playing in an early game. Their time zones are messed up. They just weren't prepared for that. And also, they had a bye the very next week. Like, we are human, you know? They know they're going on a break. They know they just need to get through this game. They probably just gave up at the halftime, to be quite honest. It was 6-14. Like, and then nothing works in the third quarter. They're probably like, okay, let's just go home, rest a week. I'm kind of kidding, but I'm kind of not, all at the same time.
I hear you. Yeah. It is just crazy. I really worry about that offensive and defensive line now. I mean, when we think of Jim Harbaugh, we think of like line of scrimmage. We think of like doing all the little things right, and this is exactly the opposite is what we just saw. So that's super concerning. And then on the flip side, the Jaguars, I mean, both their running backs absolutely killed it. Trevor Lawrence didn't even really have a good game, but he didn't need to. And you mentioned the bye week for the Chargers. I want to talk about the bye week for the Jags. It was like 3 weeks ago. And since that bye week, the Jaguars have scored 30, 29, and now 35 points.
Wow.
So no Brian Thomas Jr., no
Travis
no
Hunter.
Heisman Trophy winner. Like it's all working. It's all working.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them. It's hard to trust the Jaguars moving forward still. I still have a little hesitation, but I mean their next 3 games, Cardinals, Titans, Colts, like that's 2 wins in a row, and then they play the Colts for battle of the top of the division, like, and they still have to play the Colts twice. I'm seeing, wow, yeah, that's they could make a sneaky run.
Absolutely. And you can look at the Jags and the Colts if you want to. I'm looking at the Jags and the Chiefs because the Jags are that 7 wild card, the number 7, the last team in, and the Chiefs are the first team out when you look at it right now. And we'll get to the Chiefs game next. But the Jags are in that last spot, and their next games, you just said it, Cardinals, Titans. Then they play the Colts, and then it's the Jets. So it's like they have a chance to really rack up some wins here, and they already have the head-to-head tiebreaker against the Chiefs. So,
wow, how important is that game going to be moving forward? I didn't even think about that.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I'm starting to feel like the Jags might be a playoff team.
Sure,
and I don't know that I can say the same for the Chiefs. Let's talk about it. Chiefs, Broncos. Broncos now winners of 8 in a row, same as the Patriots. Both those teams just keep chugging along. Doesn't matter what team you throw in their way. They find a way. Another 1-score game, right? This is the exact flip side of what happened last year with both of these teams, right? Chiefs, unprecedented. They're undefeated in 1-score games. And the Broncos, the exact opposite. They were losing a bunch of 1-score games. And we said it in the offseason. We were like, this is the definition of regression. Like, and now we're seeing it live, right?
Yeah, we're seeing the exact opposite. And how cool for the Broncos, honestly. I mean, they, like, as I know I've brought it up before, but with the 49ers and the whole Trey Lance and Brock Purdy, like, resurgence, like, they should have been in the dumpster fire teams because of the Trey Lance situation and how much they put into it. And they come out on top because they have a smart GM, they have a smart head coach, and they get really lucky with Brock Purdy, let's be honest. And look at the Broncos, very similar thing with the Russ thing, having to drop him. Like, he's such a dead cap to this team. They get lucky with Bo Nix. They do their research. They have Sean Payton, and now they're 9-2. Like, as much grief as we want to give this team, a win is a win, and a 9-2 record is a damn good record.
Heck yeah, brother. Like, this is one of the most competitive divisions in football, too. And they just keep finding a way. They didn't score double-digit points. Neither team did in any one quarter. It was just really back and forth, gritty defensive battle. And we can shower some praise on Bo Nix. You know, I love to do that. But the story with this Broncos team is really the defense, probably the best in the league. I was watching this game, and Andy, I was so annoyed with the penalties. I was watching this and the Seahawks-Rams game simultaneously, and it was just, I could have taken like 4 different screenshots of refs like announcing penalties at the same time, side by side. It was so frustrating. It felt like neither team, it was just like, all right, well, let's see what the coaches and the players do, and then we'll see what the refs do about it. It was like just so frustrating. And I went and I tried to find statistics to back up what I felt like my eyes were observing. And I'm like, is this real or is it just a feeling? And I found the website that tracks all the NFL penalties, right? And the Broncos are far and away the most penalized team in the league. But what's interesting is their opponents are like almost equally as penalized. So it's just Broncos games have the most flags. This game, Broncos Chiefs, had the 5th most flags of any game this season. And this is 3 out of the last 4 weeks that the Broncos game has had the most flags in it.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Yeah. So I think there's an element of, you know, like haters will always say that like the Legion of Boom, they held on every play and they dared the refs to call it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just an aggressive physical style of defense that draws a lot of flags. Their opponents are also committing penalties. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if the Broncos offense is just really good. Cortland Sutton's drawing PI. Other teams are having to hold this great Broncos defensive line. I think that's a huge part of it because they're getting so many sacks and offensive linemen are getting beat so often they have to hold. Yeah, I don't know. Like that's kind of where my analysis stops. But I just thought that was crazy how like the statistics were backing up what I was watching, which is that the refs just can't stop throwing flags in Broncos games.
Well, I think there's one part of your analysis that you're just leaving out of, and it's the fact that they're a mile high above sea level. I mean, have you ever heard of altitude sickness? Like, man, those refs, they're just not acclimating in time, and they're just confused. They're like, I guess I think I have to throw a flag now. Like, there has to be something wrong with that play. Yeah, it makes sense. I can't focus. So that has to be the reason.
Confused and maybe a little moody, everything messes with your limbo or whatever up here. Yeah.
One eye's over here, the other one's there. Like, of course they're throwing a flag. Like, that doesn't look right. Well, yeah, have you looked in a mirror?
Yet somehow the Broncos 9-2. So
Crazy.
They just keep fighting through it, man. You got to love it.
Yes, for sure.
All right, next. Last game you want to talk about Eagles Lions? Not a whole lot to talk about.
Not really. Eagles are good.
Okay.
Detroit's not as good as they once were. That's kind of my analysis.
Yeah, speaking of the environment, the altitude, all that stuff, just Jared Goff, LA boy, goes into Philadelphia for a night game. That's just a disaster.
It's going to be rough for most folks, honestly.
Yeah, missing Sam Laporta and a few defenders not going to help either. So I like them to bounce back, though. I'm not reading too much into it. I think it was just the Eagles are a great team. You know what I mean?
Yes, the Lions they're starting to rack up those games where it's like, oh, they'll bounce back, or throw it in the tape, or throw the tape in the garbage. Like, well, eventually, if you have enough of those games, maybe you shouldn't throw those in the garbage. Maybe you should kind of refocus, realign a little bit. And I feel like those types of games are just stacking up against the Lions.
It's time for us to do the Team Elimination Challenge. This is the 11th edition of the Team Elimination Challenge. We've eliminated 10 teams up to this point. They are on your screen right now. I think this is probably going to be the easiest week that we'll ever have because we almost eliminated this team last week. ATL.
Cut it out. That's what I got to say to them.
You're done.
Yeah, out.
3-7. Jeez. 5 in a row.
Yeah.
5 losses in a row.
Yeah, 3-7, 5 in a row, and now having Penix maybe done for the year, at least for 4 games, relying on Kirk Cousins to maybe, like, their only hope is to win the division. They're not a wild card team.
They have no hope.
No, they don't. We just cut them out. Of course, they have no hope.
Well, right. But Drake London, hurt. Michael Penix hurt, and this was against a division rival, Panthers, who have now swept you. And I can't remember a game that was as crushing as this. Like a regular season loss this bad, this crushing. Like their season's over, and we're 11 weeks in. I can't remember a loss as crushing as this. And it takes me back to like the Aaron Rodgers week 1 with the Jets, where he tore his ACL, but they won that game. So I'm like, this might be the most crushing loss in the regular season in recent memory.
Well, I mean, think about just what happened last week. They go to Berlin, they go to overtime against the Colts, and Jonathan Taylor just wins the game against them with and they have nothing to stop him. He just uses sheer willpower to win the game. And then they have to fly back home and lose to the Panthers. Yeah, and get swept by the Panthers. Like, yikes. Get me. Yeah, I would hate to be a fan of this team at this current moment.
Back-to-back overtime losses, and you lose your quarterback, too. So
yeah. Oh. When you say it out loud like that, yeah, it hurts even more.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we're going to go through Andy's power rankings going into week 12. I'm only going to do my top 5 because it makes it simple, and I feel like there's a lot. All these top 5 teams are very close in record, in point differential, turnovers, etc. They're all very, very good, right? Obviously. But out of these top 5, who are the best? Starting at number 5, I'm going to go with the New England Patriots.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
they have a point differential of plus 86. Their turnover is right at 0, which is pretty funny in my opinion. And their defense allows 18.7 points per game. How I ranked these top 5 is 4 could beat 5, 3 could beat 4, 2 could beat 3, etc. So I feel like out of these top 5 teams, the 4 above them can beat the Patriots. I love where they're going. I love watching this team, but I think they're the most vulnerable out of the 5. Number 4, I have the Denver Broncos. As we were just hyping them up, gonna settle them down a little bit. They have arguably the best defense in the league. I probably have them a little bit too low, but man, this is tough when you're talking about the top 5. The Broncos, they have a plus 65 point differential. This is the kicker for me, is they have a minus 3 turnover margin. We've talked about turnovers at length, but they have their defense is allowing 17.5 points per game. It's the second best out of this top 5. But again, I think the offense is vulnerable and can be exploited. And as well as Bo Nix and that offense does in the fourth quarter, that doesn't happen every single time. And I feel like in a tough spot, that could be the difference maker, is if they can come back and win in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, 3 straight wins by exactly 3 points. So I can see why that wouldn't inspire the utmost confidence.
Yes, exactly. Number 3, I have the Los Angeles Rams. This team has a plus 100 point differential.
That's pretty nice.
That's pretty nice. Yeah. They have the best turnover margin out of all 5 of these teams at plus 10, as we just talked about. And they have the best defense. Their defense is allowing 17.2 points per game. Now, again, like I just said, they're the best at this. They have the best here, right? There's something about being the pocket passer that really worries me when it gets to the end of the year. And I feel like the Rams could beat the Broncos, the Rams could beat the Patriots, but if there's a way that you can get to Matthew Stafford because you know he's not going to move out of the pocket, that's where it worries me for this team moving forward. But obviously, killer defense, probably can carry most games, if not all of them. And then as long as you get the ball to their playmakers. But we just against the Seahawks, we just saw how stagnant that offense can be.
Well, yeah, they went up against a good opponent. And yeah, they did come away with the win, but yeah, 3 is interesting. 3 is really interesting because they were number 1 in a lot of power rankings around the league, and they just got a really nice win, and you got them at 3. So I'm interested to see who you got at 2 and 1.
Well, number 2, they were on a bye. I'm giving it to the Colts. I think the Colts can beat everybody on this list, honestly. But I think if the Colts and the Rams played each other next week, I'm going to take the Colts to win. They have the difference maker. They have what I believe as the MVP this year with Jonathan Taylor. They have the difference maker, and the defense isn't crazy. The Colts have a plus 115 point differential. That's the best out of this top 5. That's what makes the most sense to me. They have a plus 2 turnover margin, and their defense allows 20.6 points per game. That doesn't matter if you're scoring 40. Who cares if they score 20 and you're scoring 40? That's where that 115 comes into play. that gives them the slight edge over everybody on this list is the offense. And the defense is not as notable as the Denver or the Rams or the Patriots defense. But again, when you have a mobile quarterback, when you have a all-star running back, and the receivers get to do whatever they want because of that, you have Tyler Warren. I think the Colts deserve the number 2 spot. And number 1, the Eagles. I get it. It's boring.
Yep.
It's lame. But there's this thing called the eye test. And the Eagles pass the eye test against all these teams. They don't have the best point differential at plus 33. They don't have the best turnover margin at plus 6. Their defense allows 20.1 points to opposing teams per game. All of that is like middle on this top 5 list. It's like, it's right about here. It's not there. But man, when you watch this team, they're not even scoring a lot of points and they're destroying you. The defense is so good. The defensive line, they have Jalen Hurts. They have Saquon Barkley. They can catch you off guard. They have AJ Brown. They don't even need Devontae Smith. Like, it's just, there's the eye test, and they have their reigning Super Bowl champs. I have to put them at number 1.
Yeah, it's they just suck to play. Like, of all these teams, I think that is the team that I would least want my team to go up against. You know what I mean? Like, if it was like round 1 of the playoffs, you got the Eagles, you're like, oh shit. Like, that is not where any team wants to be. Even the Colts with that great offense, it's still like, okay, that's going to be a challenge, but like their defense isn't great. You know, their quarterback has his limitations. We can maybe work with it. It's like the Eagles, it's just like they've sustained success for so long and they can win in so many different ways. It's like they have counter moves to any move that you can think of is what it feels like. So, I think that's a good call. That is a surprisingly low the point differential. That's pretty crazy. 30-something points. But, I think it's a good list. I like how you did your power rankings. You basically just said, if these two teams were playing tomorrow, who would I pick to win? And I think that's as honest as you can be when it comes to just like a power rankings. I like it. Other teams, Seahawks, no consideration for you? Just outside, or?
So, yeah, I mean, something with the Seahawks to note is the Seahawks have been dominating against a lot of different teams. But when the Seahawks have to play the great team, that's how you determine if your team is great or not, is if you go, what happens when you go against the other great teams.
Sure.
And when you lose to San Francisco, Tampa Bay, the Rams, you're losing to these other really good / great teams, then you're not considered a great team, in my opinion. I think the Seahawks are really, really good. They are just they're that tier right below this top 5. Yes, they're like 6 or 7 if I had to create a top 10.
Sure, and I was going to ask you about the Bills. I mean, to talk about doing it against good teams, he just scored 6 touchdowns on Tampa Bay. So,
yes,
what do you think about the Bills?
Exactly. Yeah, they beat the Chiefs. They beat the Ravens week 1. They lose to the Patriots.
Yeah.
They lost to the Dolphins the other week though. So
that's true.
Like when you compare Seahawks losses to Bills losses, that's where they would probably be 6 and 7, but I'd probably give the edge to the Seahawks just based on who you losing, why are you losing, and who are you losing to.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense, man. Ton of sense. I get it. I thought I was going to say something else, and then I lost it.
And that's Andy's top 5.
All right. Maybe we can do like a bottom 5 next week.
I seriously thought about it, and I was like, wait, nobody cares about a bottom 5.
Lots of people care about the bottom 5. It'd be fun.
Okay. I seriously thought about it.
Maybe next time. All right, on to week 12. We got a couple really great games. A couple of so-so games, and then a bunch of other games. Andy, Thursday Night Football, Bills-Texans. I'd say that's a so-so game. Yeah, I don't know who's starting at quarterback for the Texans. I really don't like them in this matchup, but that defense can keep them in it. And in Thursday night, where things get a little freaky, they got a shot.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's in Houston. Houston's defense is really good, and it doesn't really matter who's at quarterback. I think obviously CJ Stroud gives them a better chance to win, but it really just depends on how Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz injury wise happen throughout the week. It's a short week. They both got hurt in this last game against Tennessee. If neither of them or just one of them are out there, I could see the Bills kind of running away with this in the second half.
Yeah, that sounds about right, honestly. I think the best game of the week, for some reason, we're getting it at 10 a.m. Colts Chiefs. Holy cow. The Colts coming off their bye week, looking to get right after a couple of bad performances from Daniel Jones, going up against the Chiefs, who are suddenly 500. If they lose this game, they'll go below 500 for the first time. Well, they were below 500 earlier in the year. What were they, 1-3 or something? But yeah, that would be that'd be crazy. ESPN would be in an absolute tizzy if the Chiefs went dropped to 5-6. But that's a very real possibility here. It's in Arrowhead. I think the Chiefs are favored by a couple points. But yeah, Andy, I'm worried. I'm worried about Mahomes. I mean, betting against Patrick Mahomes, it's worked this year, which is insane. It's like that's like one of the 10 commandments at this point.
Yes.
It's like don't bet against Andy Reid, don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. It's worked literally half the time. They've outright lost, and now they're going up against the highest scoring team in the league.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. They were favored against Denver, and I thought that was weird. You know, it was in Denver. This one, it's in Kansas City. You know, I think it's a morning game because probably the NFL didn't expect the Colts to be as good as they were, you know, at this point. So that's probably why it's a morning game. But this one needs to be flexed out of the morning. Like they got to do something here. But yeah, give me the Colts. This is going to be hopefully a fun game to watch. It's probably going to be very similar to Denver and the Denver Chiefs game, where it's not super high scoring and it's going to be very close. It does have a 50 point over under, which is tied for the highest of the week.
Wow.
Which
okay.
is
I didn't know that.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe that's going to be the case, quite honestly.
You think it's going to be lower?
I think it's going to hit the under. Yeah. I think it's going to be a close game. Both teams score about 20, 23 points.
The other phenomenal game of this week is in prime time. It's Sunday Night Football. I'm talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going across the country into LA to face the Rams.
Wow.
Ooh. I feel like the Bucs schedule is just like one banger after another. And I looked at their schedule because I'm like, this can't keep happening to them. Like, I feel like they've just played like the Patriots, the Bills, and now the Rams. And sure enough, their schedule does open up here in a good way. Depending on how you feel about the Panthers, right? They have to play them twice.
Right.
But,
Right.
Yeah, this is just the latest in a line of tough battles for the Bucs. And Baker, you know, he spent some time with LA a couple years ago when before he was established himself again as a starter. There's a couple interesting storylines here, but yeah, man, I'm just such a huge fan of Baker Mayfield. I left him off my MVP ladder because he had dropped a couple games, then he had a bye week, and now he lost again last week, and he's not going to be favored in this one either. And it just feels like the Bucs, did they peak too early? What's going on? I don't know. But this is a massive opportunity for them to like rewrite the script.
Yes. I mean, they did peak too early, to be quite honest. But then they also got hurt very early. Got really, really hurt really early too. Bucky got hurt. Mike Evans is done for the year. Chris Godwin, who knows what's going on with him? And when your best running back is your third string running back with Sean Tucker. Yeah, you know, that's a recipe for not a lot of wins. So I do feel bad for the Bucs because they were just so hot, and then they went through this gauntlet right after the bye, and this is the very end of said gauntlet. And this is probably going to be another loss, unfortunately. I mean, the Bucs are going to have to play their tails off. Look how, I mean, just look at the Seahawks, and yes, 4 turnovers, but they played their tails off, and they had a chance to almost win with a crazy field goal. Like, I could easily see the Bucks are going to need to muster up some magic, some genie, rub the lamp. Please get me this win, because that's their only hope, in my opinion.
They make everything look so hard.
Yes, yes, great way of saying that. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
There are technically 2 other games on the slate featuring 2 winning teams. One of those is Steelers-Bears, which is crazy. Aaron Rodgers, it looked like he injured his non-throwing wrist.
Oh
I don't know
my
if he's going to
God.
be able to play or not. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Mason Rudolph's their backup. I was just listening to another podcast, and he goes, man, is it in the rules somewhere that we are forced to watch Mason Rudolph every year? It's like this guy
Right.
always gets into the games.
That's funny. That's great.
And then my second thought was this Bears team, and I talked about last week how easy their schedule's been and how hard it's going to get. And this was supposed to be one of the hard matchups, but if Rodgers isn't playing, I don't know, man. I'm just nervous. And it's a home game too. So Chicago, they're going to be nice and cozy in the snow, perhaps. I don't know. But yeah, I really don't care about that game, but it is between 2 winning teams with a lot of playoff implications. So figured I'd bring it up.
Sure. No, I mean, you say how the Bears' schedule has been easy. They beat the Bengals by 5. They beat the Giants by 4. They beat the Vikings by 2. Like, these they're easy matchups, but they're barely winning. I mean,
yeah,
it is
come from behind too. Like,
yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what happens here against the Steelers. Right. It's just like a tough game, and then the Bears end up getting the W.
The other game featuring 2 teams with a winning record is 49ers-Panthers, the Monday night game. Yeah, get yourself some Brock Purdy versus Bryce Young. Bryce Yuck. I mean, no one wants to watch this. I think the 49ers, look, they put up 40 points against the Cardinals, and I think the Cardinals team has basically given up, but it was good to see Brock Purdy back. He looked all the way back, and Christian McCaffrey destroyed me in fantasy along with George Kittle. So, yeah, I think the Niners will probably handle business against the Panthers, but who knows? Panthers have been frisky.
They've been sneaky, man. They've been sneaky. But now that they're going to be on prime time, it's going to be where they fall flat.
Yeah.
100%, you know?
It's a good call. Good call by you.
Yeah.
All right. So as we're looking at this slate of games, when it comes to fantasy football, Andy, give me a player that you are flowing into your lineup.
Okay. Don't knock me until you try it. I'm going to go start this list off with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet.
Whoa, bro.
I know.
Okay. Kenneth Walker was my running back flow-in of the week as well, so we're
So I'll take the Zach Charbonnet side of it. They're both going to get a touchdown this game. They're going against the Titans. It's in Tennessee. If I don't have any Ken Walker on any of my teams. I do have a little bit of Zach Charbonnet. I'm going to put him in the starting lineup. I expect Seattle to score a lot, score often, and score with the running backs, because the Titans defense is good-ish, decent-ish, I should say. They're going to be a little bit of a thorn, but they're not going to be able to hold us back. Give me Ken Walker, Zach Charbonnet.
Man, okay, this is great, honestly. This is night and day from last week when RJ Harvey was my flow in and he was your flow out. And it was like we almost had to fight it out. So now we're in lockstep, which is good.
Yeah.
And you said they're both going to score a touchdown. I love that you said that, because starting a few weeks back, it doesn't even have an official segment, although it probably should. I'll put my noggin to that. But I just guaranteed that Stephon Diggs would get his first touchdown of the year. And then I guaranteed that Marvin Harrison would get his touchdown. And then I guaranteed David Montgomery would find the end zone. And then last week, what was it? It was Christian Watson. I said he would come out of nowhere and have a huge game, and he scored 2 touchdowns. So we're on a bit of a heater. And I got Kenneth Walker as my touchdown guarantee of the week. Andy, you know where this is our podcast. My success is your success, brother. You should be It's like the 12 days of Christmas. You got to repeat every single one every time
Oh
you
my
add one
God.
to it. And then by the
Oh
end,
boy.
it's Christmas morning. So,
Oh boy. Get the Groundhog Day movie on my side screen as I'm listening to this. It's just the same thing. This guy.
as soon as I get it wrong, I'll stop.
Yeah. I don't blame you. That doesn't mean I don't like hearing it.
All right. Give me another player you're flowing into your lineup.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go. You might have forgot about him. He's on a really crappy team. But now that they traded away the wide receiver 2 to the Seattle Seahawks, don't forget about Chris Olave. The Saints are going up against the Falcons. And the Falcons have a good defense, but now that their season is over, that might start to diminish a little bit. Saints are coming off of a bye. Once they got rid of Shaheed, Chris Olave became this superstar for fantasy football. Just don't forget about him. He's probably an obvious start, but kind of just throwing a reminder out there that it's okay to put in this crappy player or this player on a crappy team going against the Falcons.
Yeah, he's been a great volume play all year. So, yeah, absolutely flow him into your lineup. I love a young quarterback getting a bye week. I think that's a nice setup. Falcons just gave it up to Tet McMillan. He had his way, scored 2 touchdowns, huge game, and I told you to flow him out of your lineup last week. So my picks from last week were either amazing or just absolutely terrible.
Or dead wrong.
Yeah. Some accountability there in a big spot. But yeah, so I like that Chris Olave pick. A wide receiver that I'm flowing up into my lineup. This is normally your move, man, chasing the points, but give me some Michael Wilson against the Jaguars.
Ooh.
Jacoby Brissett targeted Michael Wilson 18 times in the game against the 49ers. He caught 15 of them for like 180 yards. I'll chase that all day. You cut that in half and I'll be thrilled. Like, just give me like 7 for 80 or something. That's a phenomenal pickup off the waiver wire. I would absolutely pick him back up. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably going to miss 1, maybe 2 more weeks. I don't know. My appendix has yet to burst. So I'm a ticking time bomb myself. I can't speak to that, but I feel like he's going to need a minute to recover from surgery. It honestly reminds me of Kendrick Bourne for the 49ers, where their top receivers went out and Kendrick Bourne was like a superstar for 2 weeks. And then he went back to being nothing. Like, I think this could be that. So I would absolutely jump on it for this week.
You're not worried about, Justin Herbert, Ladd McConkey, they didn't do anything against this defense. You're not worried about that at all with Jacoby and Michael Wilson?
Not really. That was just a crazy, like time of possession disaster. I expect a passing game script. I don't think the Cardinals will mess around and win, but I think it's just a volume play, right?
Sure. Yeah, garbage time. Yeah, you're totally
right.
There
aren't as many options. Like the Chargers have so many great pass catching options. The Michael Wilson got 18 targets because it's him and Trey McBride and Greg Dortch. So
and they're gonna have to pass as you said. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go with Stephon Diggs with the New England Patriots. Give me a lot of the Patriots going against the Bengals this week. If any player that you have going against the Bengals, you should be starting just based on that crappy defense alone. And Diggs had a great game last week on that Thursday night against the Jets. He's obviously their best pass catcher, volume wise, getting first downs wise. I'm if I have Diggs, I'm putting him into my lineup 100%.
I love that call because I have Stephon Diggs in one of our leagues. This has correlated his success. He had a great game last week. It's kind of correlated with Kayshon Boutte being out, and I don't know when he's going to come back. But I love the matchup this week against the Bengals, like you were saying. He's been such a great, reliable target, and very, very safe this week.
Yes, for sure.
Quarterback that I'm flowing into my lineup. He just had a bad game, but I'm telling you, don't worry. He's going to bounce back. I'm talking about Jared Goff at home against the Bears. This is a nice matchup. He's back home in his cozy little dome. And yeah,
against the Giants.
Whoop, Giants. You sure? Well, I can start that over.
Yeah. Because the Bears are playing Steelers.
Yeah, we talked about that. Okay. Last player that I'm flowing into my lineup this week, I'm going quarterback, and he just had a bad game this last week, but I'm telling you, he's going to bounce back. I'm talking about Jared Goff. He just had to go to Philly at night, very violent, harsh conditions, and now this week he's going to come back to his cozy little dome in Detroit, and it's against the Giants, which is a very friendly matchup, and yeah, I think they're going to bounce back in a big way. Their record after a loss is pretty stellar. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but yeah, the Lions rarely lose 2 in a row. I think it's going to be a big game.
Yeah, they haven't lost 2 in a row at all this year. They, ever since they got good with Dan Campbell, they rarely lose 2 in a row.
Yeah.
They lost to the Chiefs. They won, and then they won against the Buccaneers 24-9. They lose to the Vikings. Then they win 44-22 against the Commanders. So yeah, the Giants are going to be the downfall of the Philadelphia win, basically.
And speaking of that game, I'll just follow it up here with the first player that I'm flowing out of my lineup, because, when you flow players in, you got to flow players out. We're trying to give you advice on both sides. Flow out all the Giants running backs. They've had success, on varying levels, but you don't know which one it's going to be. Is it Tyrone Tracy? Devin Singletary comes back, scores touchdowns. I'm like, man, I don't know. And they're on the road against a tough, pissed off Lions team. Just avoid it.
Yeah, makes sense. I have Singletary on a couple of my teams just because I'm waiting to find out who is the best running back. But I don't even think the Giants coaching staff knows anymore. They've kind of given up. They fired their head coach. It's kind of just like, go out there, whoever. It's your possession. It's your series. One series. It's Tyrone Tracy's the next. They can't quite figure it out. So yes, I totally agree there. I'm going to go with Sam Darnold. You're going to flow in the running backs for the Seahawks, and you're going to flow out Sam Darnold. This guy, the Seahawks can win with him throwing very few passes. And he had a moment there for a couple weeks where he was looking like an all-star waiver wire type of quarterback for fantasy football. It's not this game. It might not be very many games moving forward, but I'm going to rely on the running backs for Seattle and not the quarterback.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I got a quarterback that I'm flowing out of my lineup, and it's Daniel Jones. You mentioned that you like that game going under. I think I still might even pick the Colts to win, but I just don't trust Daniel Jones for fantasy because his last 2 games, he's had 3 total touchdowns and 7 total turnovers. That's horrible, right? And they're coming off a bye, so I can see that. I can see them turning it around, but it's just I want to see improvement before I put him into my lineup, especially when it's against the Chiefs defense, and they're kind of a cornered animal at this point. You never know, what they're going to pull out of their hat. So, yeah, I just trying to avoid that situation.
Daniel Jones or Caleb Williams? Caleb Williams is going against the Steelers. Daniel Jones is going against Kansas City. Which one would you pick?
Well, I don't trust either of them, so I guess give me the guy that has the upside. I'll go Daniel Jones there.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to go Jordan Addison. Look, something is going on with Minnesota, just like something's going on with Atlanta, except for we trust the coaching staff a lot more in Minnesota, but J.J. McCarthy is just not connecting the dots, and you can see the frustration across the board. I almost put Justin Jefferson in here, but I feel like that's a move nobody would ever make. So give me just flow out Jordan Addison. The Vikings are going against the Packers. I understand that the Packers don't have the best secondary, but they do have a killer defense, especially with Micah Parsons. And
Michael Parsons, yeah.
Micah Parsons. I'm just avoiding this game as a whole, especially on the Vikings side. I am having a really hard time focusing on the Vikings offense, and I'm sure a lot of the Vikings fans and their own teammates are having a hard time focusing on this offense.
Yeah, that's just an unfortunate reality that we're living in now. Yeah, we had high expectations for JJ McCarthy, and now I'm not ready to write him off, but I am ready to bench most Vikings, pretty much everyone
Yes,
except for Jefferson. So
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
a wide receiver that I'm flowing out of my lineup is Khalil Shakir against the Texans on Thursday night. They just put up 44 points, and they were missing Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid, and they didn't use him at all.
Yeah,
That shouldn't be
yeah.
possible, but it is. The dude finished with .7 fantasy points. It depends on
Oh,
your scoring settings, but yeah, it's just a total nightmare. You
gross.
can't trust him, and this Texans defense is one of the best in the league.
I almost did put him down on my flow out list. I do I do think that this might be a sneaky game for Shakir because the Bills, it's either like the running backs or it's either the tight end and or it's Shakir. Like you can't quite nail down what game is going to happen when, but it does feel like a weird rotation where it's not back-to-back weeks. So I feel like Shakir could be like a sneaky play here, but I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to listen to what we say on Thursday night. Just leave it and enjoy it.
Yep, exactly. Uh, Little bonus: Jamar Chase is suspended for this coming game.
Oh
So
yeah.
make sure you flow him out of your lineup. If you're listening to fantasy podcasts, you're
Yes.
probably on top of it. But yeah,
Yes. No, a good reminder.
that is big, and I think that really hurts the Bengals. I don't see this as being a situation where like, oh, the other Bengals are going to get more. It's like I think that just hurts everyone in the offense. You're moving the chains less opportunity for touchdowns for the whole offense. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a bad
Uh,
situation.
my last player is going to be Ashton Genty. Look, this guy right now
Ooh,
I have
I
the
thought about it.
have
I
the
thought
game
it was a
on.
little too spicy, but I like where your head's
No.
at.
No, it's not spicy at all because this team just sucks. This guy is good at the football, but he's only had 6 carries for 7 yards. Where I have the game on to the side right now,
Yeah.
and he has 5 catches for 22 yards. So what? That's 7. So he has less than 10 points, and the game is almost over. I mean, this is the
Gino is
Oakland
leading the
team.
team in rushing yards right now.
Exactly. That shouldn't be happening ever.
No.
This Oakland team will be down no matter who they're playing. They will be down almost immediately. So then they have to turn to a passing game script, and that just eliminates Genty as a whole. I don't. This guy. I would be curious to see how many successful fantasy games, top 24, top 12 games he's had all year. I bet the number is less than 2.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. All right, that was it for the fantasy flow in, flow out segment. Next up is the fantasy face off.
Boom. Face off.
Let's look at last week's results. Okay, last week I picked the 49ers, who absolutely destroyed the point spread, and I was let down in a big spot by the Texans. I thought they would cover 7.5 against the Titans, and they decided to play with their food, play down to the level of their competition. They let me down there. The Rams, well, I already talked about that. 2.5. They won by 2. Andy, you had a similar situation with the Jets on Thursday Night Football. They just needed to keep it within 12.5, and they lost by
know.
13.
I know.
That is just
They come out the first drive, they come out, they score.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Ooh, this is going to be closer than we thought." I knew I had a little something in there, and then of course the Patriots win by 13.
I can't believe that, dude. Yeah, Bengals also let you down, but the Cowboys got you a win. So we were both 1-2 in our worst week
Okay.
in a long time. So let's turn that around. What do you say?
Okay. Let's do it.
All right, Andy, you got the first pick. Where are you going?
Ooh, yeah. We talked about this game just a little bit. I'm going to go with the Bears versus the Steelers -3. If no Aaron Rodgers, I feel like this is a cakewalk for the Bears. The Steelers offense, man, Kenneth Gainwell is probably their best running back, and if Jalen Warren is still hurt, maybe this hurts this spread, but it's very small. It's -3. I think the Bears win. And I don't know if they win handily, but I definitely think they win by more than 3.
All right. My first pick is going to be the Patriots to cover 8.5 points against the Bengals. We just talked about how they're going to be missing Jamar Chase. I don't like the vibes for the Bengals. I think this sort of Joe Burrow magic has maybe run its course, and Joe Burrow's not coming back. So, give me the Patriots to keep rolling here. Make it, 10 wins in a row? 9 wins in a row? I think 9 wins in a row it would be.
My second pick is going to be this Jacksonville versus Arizona. Jacksonville is only favored by 2.5, which is crazy to me coming off the win against the Chargers. The Jaguars are a playoff team, obviously, as we're seeing, and the Cardinals are just bad. I think it's kind of this backup magic that you just talked about with the Bengals. Jacoby's Brissett's magic is just falling off, and now no Marvin Harrison still probably. Trey Benson should be coming back, so maybe that helps the Cardinals, but we don't know at this current point, and I think the Jaguars definitely win by a field goal.
Yeah, that's a great pick. That was on my list for sure. My next pick, I picked against them last week. I regret it. I'm trying to make amends. Coming back home to Seattle. All right, give me the Seattle Seahawks to cover 13.5 against the Titans. The Seahawks were previously undefeated on the road. The Titans are winless at home.
Oh, boy.
So this is all setting up real nice. We talked about the Seahawks, how they struggle against great teams, but they blow out bad teams. I want to see that again this week.
Yeah, it probably will happen. You're probably right. I think that's just too big of a spread, but
I like them big.
Yeah, Seattle. Yeah, you do like the big spreads, but also Seattle, like you said, has been blowing out these bad teams, and so that's honestly, the more you talk about it, the more I'm upset of how easy pick that is. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give the Colts plus 3.5 against Kansas City.
Yeah. I wrote it down and then I got nervous, but I like the Colts side too. What you got? 3.5? You said
3.5. Yeah, I just think the Chiefs are not that great. The Colts, they're the number 2 in my power rankings. How can I vote against them, no matter who they're going against? Yeah, I know it's at home, which the Chiefs are 4-1. The Colts are 2-2 away. But, man, the Colts are just so good coming off a bye. I think, bloody mouth or not, give me Daniel Jones.
I got one pretty big favorite, one really big favorite. And just to kind of mix it up, I'm going to go with an underdog. I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings at Green Bay to keep it within, I believe it's 6.5. Yes, 6.5 points. The Packers offense is struggling. It's real. Their receiving core, they just keep dropping. They lost Kraft. They lost pretty much all the guys. Christian Watson is still there. They got Dontavian Wicks back. But then what happened? This last week, it looks like they lost Aaron Jones. Not Aaron Jones. Jesus.
No.
I just
Josh Jacobs.
I just messed the whole thing up. They lost Josh Jacobs, who I think is going to be like a Jenga piece in that offense. They're going to find out, and I don't think they can really move the ball. Aaron Jones, their former running back, is on the other side of this game with the Vikings, so he's going to look to make a statement in Green Bay, remind everyone that he's still there, that he's still doing it. I don't know how much success J.J. McCarthy will have, but I like the coaching staff of the Vikings, and I just don't trust the Packers offense one bit, and I'm getting 6.5 points, so I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That was the fourth matchup on my list. It was them or the Colts versus Kansas City.
Wow.
And so, yeah, they were I think it's just too big of a point spread. I understand that the Packers defense is really good, but a divisional game where you don't really trust the Packers as a whole, that was just too big of a spread. I thought about taking advantage of it.
So we both have 2 favorites, 1 underdog. Love it. Good luck.
Good luck, my friend. Let's both go. I think this is my week, but you could go the 2-1, and I'll go the 3-0. I think that's fair.
Okay, yeah, and then we'd be tied on the year. So, okay, so 5-1 sounds good.
But what's the punishment at the end of the year?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm so glad you reminded me. Yeah, the whole reason we're doing this, at the end of the year, whoever has the least amount of correct picks, they must start Shador Sanders in their fantasy championship.
What if he's not on the waiver wire?
You gotta start him, buddy. You better pick him up now because it's gonna be you.
Oh boy!
Okay?
All right. Duly noted. He's going on my Tuesday waiver wire for sure.
All right. Good luck, man.
Good luck. Have fun.
All right. Good luck to the rest of you guys out there. Thanks for rocking with us. See you later.
See ya.
Thanks a ton for making it to the end of the episode. You're a real one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's a free, easy way to support the show, and it really helps us out. And leave us your comments down below if you're on YouTube, or send in your questions at the Fantasy Flow Podcast at gmail.com. Until next time.